Hello, we are Fantastic Five Consulting Agency, and I will be providing background information of the company Pack Resources. This is a small manufacturing company that was founded in 1994. They manufacture high-quality specialty components for the computer industry, and they are iOS certified by the International Organization for Standardization. With over 800 employees, they strive to produce a product with the highest level of professionalism and excellence. With their products being solely produced within the United States, they have successfully acquired clientele across seas, thus demonstrating that they do have a global presence within the computer industry. Along with the utmost care for delivering a high-quality product, they also have a strong concern for providing their employees with a healthy and productive environment that helps them to be motivated and able to succeed, achieve, and innovate new ways to improve the technological world. As members of the Human Resource Department, specifically pertaining to the area of safety and security, they have proved that the company has demonstrated strengths that have contributed to the overall success of what Pack Resources does. Their employees have a vast amount of training programs at their disposal to improve their skills, and they receive continuous in-house training to better educate themselves on the most recent updates with regards to their policies. They even have abundant of services and options to ensure the well-being of their employees, such as voluntary health risk assessments and free immunizations. Their primary concern is to direct their attention to the wellness of their employees, and this is demonstrated by the already established and successful wellness program. Even though they have experienced much success with this particular program, they've experienced some weaknesses that must be addressed if they wish to move forward.
Our consulting group has conducted a SWOT analysis in the Safety and Security Department. It includes internal strengths and weaknesses as well as external opportunities and threats. To begin with, the strengths are: number 1, Tradia left a well-established active wellness program. Number 2, the new manager of the department, Vasquez, specializes in ergonomic and formerly worked as an assistant to Tradia. In addition to this, Vasquez has developed a database to track report on recommended or approved ergonomic changes in workstations. The department also reimburses its employees for 50% of cost for weight loss and smoking cessation programs they attend. In addition to this, it maintains an employee assistance program. The Pack Resources organization also has a strong relationship with the hospital that provides free immunization and voluntary health risk assessments to all its employees. The weaknesses are: number 1, high worker compensation claims have arisen related to carpal tunnel syndrome. Number 2, the new department manager, Vasquez, lacks experience with job hazard analysis, and it is making it difficult for him to complete the assignment President Skilling has left him about department with higher risk and compensation claims. Number 3, spreadsheet tracking on workstations is heavily time consuming. Now, the external opportunities are: number 1, time management training can be implemented in the department. 2, there's a high possibility to identify carpal tunnel syndrome symptoms and make adjustments or guidelines to workstations. 3, possibly make voluntarily health risk assessments mandatory to track and identify when sicknesses started to be present in employees. It could be that it's hereditary rather than just a side effect of the job. Another thing that can be implemented is that they can alternate Vasquez's day-to-day activities to balance the work tasks. Next, they can distribute tasks among other HR officials, for example, the job hazard analysis, or potentially to employees that can track any symptoms of discomfort in their workstation. Also, issues in this particular area will be resolved at a faster rate, with Tradia being closely working and monitoring the department with Vasquez due to his lack of experience. And last, look at other manufacturing companies and get possible ideas of changes that can be implemented in the workstations. Now, the external threats are: there is an upcoming economic downturn. It is always a challenge to keep up with government regulation updates. If the former compensation claims aren't resolved or decreased in a small amount of time, potential organizations can defame this organization, specifically public officials and telecommunication channels. The improvements with regard to ergonomics may not be approved by the safety inspectors and can cause high fine costs, which makes it very crucial for us to carefully make changes in the department. And last, the relationship with the hospital to provide free health care services may end if in fact the hospital begins to experience financial difficulties due to an economic downturn. These are all the factors that PAC Resources needs to consider in order to resolve these issues.
According to OSHA's website, a job hazard analysis is a technique to identify hazards and dangers before they occur, and focuses on the relationship between the worker, the task, the tools, and the work environment. The process of conducting a job hazard analysis includes the following steps. Step 1. Involve your employees. Discuss what you're going to do and why, so they have a better understanding of the job. Explain that you're studying the task and not employee performance. And involve the employees during the entire process to help minimize oversights and ensure quality analysis. Step 2. Review accident history. Review with your employees your work site's history of accidents and occupational illnesses that needed treatment, losses that require repair or replacement, and near misses. Step 3. Conduct a preliminary job review. Discuss with your employees the hazards that they already know exist in their current work and surroundings. Brainstorm with them for ideas to control and eliminate those hazards. Any problems that can be easily corrected should be corrected as soon as possible. This will show your commitment to safety and health. Step 4. Set priorities. List jobs with hazards that present risk based on those most likely to occur with severe consequences. These jobs should be your first priority. Lastly, Step 5. Outline the steps or tasks. Watch the employees perform the job and list each step as they perform them. Be sure to collect enough information to describe each job action without getting overly detailed. And review the job steps with your employee to make sure you have not omitted something. In light of increasing workers' compensation claims, a job hazard analysis would be extremely helpful because each employee will be aware of the possible hazards and dangers on the job beforehand.
PAC Resources is a company that utilizes flexible scheduling and wellness activities to help their employees where they can. The company is a respected local employee but has had issues with employee unrest before. As such, the company wishes to remain non-union, and as a result of this, needs to balance the employee needs versus their own organizational needs. The company also needs to remain competitive in their employee wellness, where they risk losing their employees to their competitors with more lucrative contracts. The wellness program that is currently instituted shows that the company cares and helps keep employee dissatisfaction to a minimum. The main reason that the wellness program was implemented was to help curb any backlash for their high compensation claims. It's especially important to be seen doing something to help the employees, otherwise they may feel used or that management does not care. The costs of the wellness programs are offset by maintaining that competitive edge that will allow PAC to keep their current employees and not have to worry about the hiring freeze. Their flexibility scheduling is only used by a few of their lower-level part-time employees, but these part-time employees are university students, and the hope is that despite the hiring freeze, these part-time employees will be able to move up into actual full-time roles and help the company. Now, PAC cannot legally provide different levels of coverages amongst the same health coverages amongst same-level employees, but can provide discounts to the premiums amongst those same levels. The HIPAA Act prohibits different premiums, but allows businesses to provide premium reductions. To help avoid any claims of discrimination that these may cause, PAC should provide every opportunity for those employees to earn any discounts. Now, PAC can continue their health program to help people quit smoking and can encourage their employees to go through the program. In response to this, PAC will also have to decide whether or not vaping and e-cigarette usage will count as smoking and whether or not that violates their non-smoking agreements. It also raises questions of if a non-smoking employee, an employee who receives that discount, is found outside of work smoking, whether or not that should violate their non-smoking agreement. Ultimately, PAC can provide discounts to their premiums but cannot provide different health packages. They can provide those premiums only after providing significant evidence that these practices are non-discriminatory.
PAC Resources has had numerous workers' compensation claims, mainly concerning carpal tunnel syndrome. In preventing the risk of carpal tunnel, every employee will be formally trained in a short session concerning ergonomics. Here they will learn how to be aware and identify poor form concerning proper technique, while also identifying the risk associated with repetitive motion. Being in the manufacturing industry, many motions are repetitive, and employees should be aware of how to decrease this motion and when to take breaks. Each office at the company will have an ergonomic-friendly keyboard, which has been proven to help with decreasing the risk of carpal tunnel, providing more support for the wrist. The Safety and Security Supervisor will routinely check the plant and workstations for ergonomic improvements and complaints. He or she will then input this data in a spreadsheet to track the suggestions and implementations in PAC Resources. Terminating an employee based on suspicion without a guide creates a huge liability for PAC Resources and opens the company up to lawsuits that could cost millions of dollars. PAC Resources should provide training to every supervisor regarding reasonable suspicion, particularly in regards to that of substance and alcohol abuse. A written alcohol observation plan will detail what the supervisor should look for and classify as warning signs of possible alcoholism on work premises. With alcoholism stages described as early, middle, and advanced, supervisors will be able to identify the possible signs of alcoholism problems and performance issues that are associated. If an employee seems to be under the influence, the supervisor is to talk to the employee and look for signs of slurred speech and impairment. If the employee shows clear signs, then send the employee home. It is extremely important to document each and every observation, so it is vital that the supervisor keeps an accurate and updated record of each incident. It is also important to document and refer the troubled employee to the Employee Assistance Program. A written substance abuse policy will establish and communicate the signs that a supervisor looks for when observing someone under the influence of a substance on the job. It also outlines the kinds of tests that may be used to determine the cause of lack in performance and the company's rights to use undercover agents and workplace inspections. It is recommended that PAC Resources publicizes each policy to its employees in bulletins and handbooks, for example, to avoid lawsuits of defamation, wrongful discharge, and illegal searches. Along with the policy, the availability of help should also be easily accessible for those who voluntarily seek advice for their abuse problem. We are Fantastic 5 Consulting, and those are our options and suggestions for PAC Resources.